Good afternoon. Joel Boer here with National List Services. I hope everyone's doing great. We're here to
Yes.
give you another how-to video on how to run radiuses, multiple site location radiuses. So if you caught my previous how-to video, it's just simply a quick how-to register and how to get started. And so if you've already gotten that out of the way, all you have to do is go back to the system, go to nationallistservices.com if you don't have it bookmarked, and simply click Run Counts. Okay? And once you're into the Run Counts section here, you're going to be into the count system. So I'm going to kill one of these tabs here. Give me a second. We'll go back on that one. We'll click there. Now we're good to go. All right. So what we're going to cover today is oftentimes people are concerned with duplicate removals when they're trying to pull data from multiple locations in maybe a very confined market area or in a geographic area where each of those locations might be overlapping each other. Well, our system makes it super easy for you to do that through one of the geo selections that we have available on many of the files. So to get started, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the National Consumer List file. And you'll notice at the very top, again, the tabs are very easy to navigate. This is how you kind of work through the system, these top tabs. And as you make your selections, they show up on the left-hand side. All right. You'll notice one of the geography selections that we have here is mapping. And we're going to use mapping in this case because it's going to provide you with a visual way for which to see what I'm talking about. Another way you can pull radiuses if you're doing radiuses is multi-location radius if you have more than one radius, obviously, and radius, which is going to be just for a single location, okay? But again, I want to give you some visual ideas of how this works so that you can get a clear picture of it. Let's go ahead and go on over to mapping. Now, if you have the addresses for your different store locations, that makes this very handy and it makes it very helpful for you. And so what you'll end up doing is you'll end up just starting by typing in the address. I'm going to pick just kind of a random one. I'm going to pick Dodge Street. And we're going to say Omaha, Nebraska. And when you click search, look at that. It finds it for you. And when you click on the link, it takes you to that area. Well, we're going to make up some makeup stores here, for example. And we're going to start with just simply doing a radius, like a 5-mile radius. We're going to do 5 miles here. We're going to click create. Now the next thing that's going to pop up is a location description. Now this is this is for your own helpful way to keep things separate and organized. But also this, whatever you put right here is going to get key coded onto the actual mailing list when you get it, or telemarketing list when you get it. So let's just give this one a location. We'll give it a store number. Sometimes organizations will have store numbers. They'll have a location name. You can put whatever you want here. Keep in mind, whatever you put here is getting key coded onto the data, which is very helpful. It opens up a lot of opportunities. So we'll go with that. And we're going to say store number 152. And in this case, it put our circle right smack there, but we're going to move it over to here. Let's just say that our location is right on 144th and Dodge, right there. Now, if you needed to make your radius bigger, you can always grab this and you can click on it and you can drag it out, drag it in, whatever fancies you, you can do it. So we're going to leave that 5.01 and we're going to click save. That pretty much locks that radius, that geo selection down. Okay. Now, let's say, for instance, we have 2 more locations and the next location is store number 138. Okay. And that location, we're going to put it down over just off of Dodge, right around 48th Street. And we're going to say it's right there. And we're going to click save. Now, for the sakes of our illustration, we're going to say we have a 3rd location. And we're going to give this one a store location of 84. And we're going to put this one right over, we'll put it off of 84th Street, it looks like. 84th and Giles. How's that? Right there. All right, so oftentimes this is probably pretty realistic compared to some organizations. They might have multiple locations in a metropolitan area, and so you're going to have you might want to pull data. Maybe you're doing a postcard campaign for all those locations, and you want to be able to pull data for each of the locations, but you don't want to have them trample on each other. So how does this work? The logic that the system uses. You'll notice that right over here on the side, we have in first priority store number 152. The next one is store number 138, and the next one is location number 84. Now imagine, even though there's not a 1, 2, 3 on the side here, since this one's at the top, it's in position 1, this one's in position 2, and the last one position 3. All right, and we're going to get back to show you how this actually affects it and how this works. So what does this mean then? So what this means is that for this circle of 152, it's going to get everything that's in its circle. Okay, it's getting everything. Now for location 138, it's getting everything in its circle as long as it doesn't overlap with location 152, since it's number 2 in the list. Okay. Now for location 84, it's getting everything in its circle as long as it doesn't overlap with 152 or 138, because they already get what's in their circle and they have a priority over this one. Make sense? So how does this look count-wise? Well, let's look at a count report here. The count report, we'll just simply click Reports and click Next. And in this case, we're going to go ahead and click Save. Now I'm going to show you how this kind of works, and we're going to show you the difference between moving one location priority over the other. And so while we're waiting for that report to run, I'm going to simply click Copy, and we're going to go back into our geographic selection. Okay, so I click Copy. I'm going to click Mapping right over there, and it takes us right into here. And let's say, for instance, we want location 84 to be second priority. Now, so what does this do to this whole process? Well, what it does is location 84, since it's second in priority, it's going to get everything in this radius, of course, but it's also going to get everything that is in this. You see this little line right here? It's going to get everything in this area right here, too, because it's second in priority. Now, location 152 is still getting all of its records in that particular radius. But then location 138, because it's last in priority, it's going to get everything that's not in either the 184 circle or 152 circle. So hopefully I haven't lost you there, and hopefully that's making sense for you there. Now we'll look at this report in comparison to the next. We'll click Report, we'll click Next, and we'll click Save. Okay. Now there's one other report that I'm going to go ahead and do, just because that way it's running, and we're going to come back to it and look at it in a second. Actually here, just for the sakes of demonstration, I'm going to show you why I'm doing this. We'll go into previous searches so we can see our two that we've done here. So right here we can see, here's that first location. Okay, now the report, you'll notice it gives you a nice little map that you can look at so you can see what you've done. But the breakdown by geography is just going to be by whatever we nicknamed that radius, so or key coded that radius. So 152 is the only furthest breakdown we get really by geography. So it's not giving us like a zip code breakdown or like maybe an income breakdown, whatever the case may be. All right. And so what I want to be able to do, though, is I want to be able to maybe make some decisions on zip code or income within each location, right? Maybe you want the top. So if we wanted to do that, we could simply click Modify Rerun. Now, we haven't selected much criteria, and we're not going to get into it on this particular how-to video, but we'll get into it on others. But I'm going to show you some breakdowns. So we'll click Reports, and in this case, we're going to select Two-Dimensional Matrix Report and click Next. Now this opens up a whole ball field of opportunities here. So the first thing we're going to do is we want it broken down by the key code that we have, right? So we're going to select geography from the list. You notice I just typed in, I started typing it in and selected it. And so we're going to select geography. And maybe we want to see a breakdown by zip code. Well, it started us at the bottom here, so we'll select zip codes. And it takes a second for it to select. And so we're just going to say, we're going to give it a name, geo zip code breakdown. Now that's great, but let's also look at this another way. Maybe we want to look at this from a relation of income within each of those radiuses. So we'll select copy, we'll select reports. Now you could always go, of course, and select an income if you wanted to, but we're not going to in this particular video. We're going to go ahead and show you how you can break it down and look at it this way. So again, we'll click two-dimensional, we'll select the first dimension, or the primary selection being the geography. That's that key code that we had, right? The 152, the 138, and the 84. So we're going to select geography. And then the next selection here, maybe we want to see income. We're going to select income high ranges right now in this particular case. And by the way, when you're in our system, if you ever have questions, if you ever need help, please give us a call. The number is 866-363-9576. Again, 866-363-9576. Always don't hesitate to give us a call. We're more than happy to help you out. So we're going to give this a name. We're back to our search here. We're going to say, hey, this is Geo, and this is income breakdown. And we'll click save. So now those searches are running. So now we're going to take a quick step back. And remember how we were talking about the priority of like one location over the other, and we moved that one location in the priority? So here is our first count right here. You'll see where it had a total of 35,000 records for 84. Well, remember we moved number 80 or location 84 like it to the second priority, to that second level. So we'll go back in here and look at this other search, and we'll see, look at 84 now. 84 has 71,000 records. So it actually moved up in the priority, and there's no duplicate records between any of these three locations, but you can move that priority up and down. So maybe in your particular geographic area, it makes sense that 84 is going to pull the traffic from this area better than 138. Well, you know your area sometimes better than most, or your customer may know those areas better than most. It's always helpful to get a better understanding so we can pull the search correctly for you. Now, the other thing we looked at was a breakdown by geography, because each of these reports, when we look into them, they give us a pretty standard breakdown just by that key code. Well, maybe we want to look at something a little bit more detailed, maybe by zip code, or we did income too. So this is our geo zip code breakdown report. Let's go ahead and look at that. So right here you can see for location 152, it's breaking it down by all the different various zip codes right there. And so it gives us a different way to look at this data. Now if we go back and let's look at the income one, if we click view order, notice it did it to the income. So here at location 152 by income. Now this is very handy because maybe you don't want to break it down by zip code. Maybe it's the certain income ranges that you're after, or certain age groups that you're after. By those two-dimensional reports, you can do that. It's real quick, real simple, not difficult. It makes it easy. So now, but we want to order some data. We don't want all these records, 277,000 records. Maybe that's bigger than what you're planning on mailing. You can easily go in the system. Because we broke down the count this way, you don't need to rerun your search. If in essence you could cherry pick out of these exactly what you wanted, you can do that. Simply click place order. And because we did a two-dimensional report, you're going to notice that you're going to see on this place order, you're going to see I would like to order for my matrix breakdown report as an option for you when you get started on your order. So we can simply select that. Now if you want all the records, you just leave the toggle on the top there. If you want to add records to other searches, you can do that too. So in this screen here, you pick, I want to order for my matrix breakdown report. If you're going to use it 1, 2, or multiple use for the usage. So if you're going to use it for 3 mailings, you want to pick multiple use. If you're going to use it for 2 mailings, you want to use it for 2 times. So just pick that. There's a small variation in the cost. It's not much, but it keeps you in the straight and narrow. So we're going to go ahead and click continue. Now you'll notice because our count report was broken down that way, we're able to order that way as well. So you notice that we can pick in here, we want 1,000 of these, we want 1,000 of these, and so on and so forth. All right? So when you're all done, you can click submit down at the bottom. Now if we wanted to just fill in, maybe we wanted 1,000 records from every single one, we can select dimension secondary selections and simply go in here and put 1000 and click apply. And look at that. It automatically does it there for you. So it makes it real simple, real slick for you to be able to do that. Now, I mentioned that you don't see this matrix breakdown if you don't do it by the two-dimensional. I'll show you that too. So if we go to one of these other ones and click View Order, you'll notice that when we click Place Order over here, that it just gives you the option to select by your geographic region. So since we did radiuses in this case, and then we nicknamed them the 152, 138, and 84, you can actually nth it down by those or randomly select records out of each one of those. Maybe you just want 2,500 records out of each. Just randomly pull it. You can do that right there. That's real simple. So if we put, for example, 2,500, 2,500, you'll notice it tallies it up for you. So you can see exactly what you're getting. And you'll click Continue. Now the key codes that you named each of these radius locations, it's interesting to note that these actually show up on your layout of your data when you actually order your list. So you'll notice a field right here that says Uploaded Key Code. This is that key code. So when you get your file, it's going to be one file, but it's going to have a field that has a key code of whatever you put in each of those locations, okay? So this makes it really easy for maybe your letter shop or, maybe your letter shop is personalizing those pieces based on the location, and they need that location number to have to automatically feed in maybe a map, a location map, so people can find it, or a phone number that changes by each location. That's where you're going to use that type of information. You can imagine how that's all connects everything together there and makes it real easy. So for right now, that's our tutorial. This gives you kind of a quick run through on how to do some more advanced searches on the system. If you have questions, if you have your own specific campaign where you're like, man, I don't know how to pull this, just give us a call. We're here to help you out. We're here to walk you through the system. We're here to help you get the data that you need to drive your marketing into success. So thanks for jumping on. Thanks for watching. I hope this information was helpful and informative. If it was, throw us a comment in the comment box below. And if you have questions that you want to see answers to on how to do something on the system, just put them there too, and we'll get a video put together for you just for you. So thanks again for tuning in, and until later, be great, because nothing else pays.